Hello, everybody. How are you this morning? I am doing the stream today. I haven't had any response from David this morning. It was his birthday yesterday, and I forgot to ask him last night. I am all prepared to do the TinkerCAD today. So hopefully it goes smoothly, and we'll go from there. Hopefully everyone's having a lovely weekend so far. Um, I'm not used to switching and everything, so bear with me while I get my switching legs going. Couple things. I just want to thank our patrons. Thank you so much for supporting us. Again, if you want to join us, you can be a paid Patreon or a free Patreon. You go to patreon.com/3dmakeit, and you can join us there. There are some paid tiers that you get access to our private Discord, but the free ones you also get access to the general Discord. So please join us there for any kind of discussions and whatnot. We'd love to have you there. And other than that, we've got only one thing that I found that I thought was kind of interesting. We'll see if it comes to fruition or if it's just a marketing thing. A while ago, I think we showed off. A gentleman had a open source project with a 5-axis 3D printer, and he even developed his own 5-axis slicer. And now I'm seeing, and let me just switch to my screen share. Ooh. We're seeing this. This is supposedly, and it's launching on Kickstarter, so it may never come to fruition. We understand this about Kickstarter, but it's supposedly a world's 5-axis 3D printer. Do I think they needed to add all the AI gimmicky stuff into it? No. But some of the features, it can tilt the bed up to 30 degrees to be able to print. They have a couple of examples here of it tilting and doing a print. So they do a print, and then instead of having a whole bunch of more support, they just tilt the bed and it prints. So thought that was kind of neat. It's kind of worth looking into. I think this is going to be, besides multicolor, I think this is the next kind of iteration is adding a 5th axis here to the printer. I think you're going to get a lot more interesting prints and whatnot. But yeah. And then they have this AI gimmicky thing. I still think that's a fad. But that's the way they want to market it. That's the way they want to market it. Other than that, it looks a lot like any of the other 3D printers out there. I thought it was kind of interesting before we get going on the other stuff. So, any thoughts? Let me know. But that definitely is kind of interesting. All right. We can get into TinkerCAD right away here. Let's go full screen so everyone can see it. So, last week we kind of briefly talked about TinkerCAD, what you can do. I'm going to just kind of go over some of the basics here. So, if we take an object into TinkerCAD, you've got a variety of different options here. You can make it a negative, a whole, or a solid. So if you do a solid first and then move another object into it, you can subtract it. I'll show you that in a sec. They make it easy to kind of change your widths just with these sliders here, and then you can do your height if you need to. So if you know your measurements, you can actually go in here and just type it. I need this to be 10, or I need this to be 120, and I need this to be 50, etc. And then I can grab another shape, bring it over here. I can make sure that this shape is within the first shape. I can make sure it's all the way through. And then if I go and take another shape and drag it in, you're merging them together. So now we have a hole in the middle of our object, and we have a solid. So you can build up things quite easily with just dragging your primitives on here. You want a cone, and that cone, put it on the surface. When I just dragged it, it put it right on the surface of the other one here. So I can do the same thing with a sphere, and you can see how it hops up to the top of the other piece. Now, that's typically how TinkerCAD, how you did things in TinkerCAD for a long time. It was just the primitives. You could add text. You could do a number of things. You can move your objects up, and, left and right, up and down. You can, change the shape of it. You can then move it into the other object. You can try to line it up with the other one. So there's a number of things you can do. Now, they've started, I'm just deleting all these. They've started to add some new features. So this feature here is very much like Fusion. You can take your object, you can start making your sketch, and you can switch to a curve. There we go. So now we have a more complex shape, and now I can hit finish, and I can change the height of it, and now I've got a much more complex shape than just your basic primitive that you drag and drop. So that's very much like your extrude in Fusion 360. You can increase the quality of it or decrease the quality of it. So that makes everything a little sharper. You can scale it a bit so that it tapers out on the top. You can reduce the scale at the bottom. So you can get some pretty interesting objects out of it. Twist, that's a new one. So you can really get interesting with oh, look at that. Yeah. So you can get quite interesting with your shapes and get something a little more advanced than just the basic shapes. So let's get rid of that. The other new one, which is really quite nice because you can make, again, it's similar to the extrude. You've got your sketch feature. You can now, uh, you know, make your object and change the type of line you're using on your object. Make quite a more drastic shape. You can go back to straight lines. It gives you a little preview on the side. And now we can hit finish. And now I've made quite a interesting shape. You can tweak it a little bit. You can tell it how many sides you want for the shape. If you want 128, it makes it a lot more. Let's see. Let's change the view a bit. So if we vary the number of sides, so we can go down to let's 3 sides. It'll obviously, you can go up from there. That was one of the things that in TinkerCAD, some of your models looked quite, well, they were using primitive, so let's use the word, quite primitive, because they didn't use as many triangles as you would think. And again, you can increase your quality, and you can, let's not sweep it 360. Let's only sweep it halfway, or 10%, or so you can really see how it works. So you can make some very interesting objects and whatnot that you couldn't do originally. So TinkerCAD, even though it's a starter CAD program, has gotten quite advanced in what you can do now that they've added the extrude and the revolve sketch. And then let's delete this. And they have this other one here, squiggle. And again, you can just draw whatever your heart desires. And there's our preview of the shape. We can hit done, and away we go. We've got quite a complex shape that we drew fairly quickly. So you have a lot of options when designing in TinkerCAD. Text, that's one of the things that a lot of teachers or people might like. They might want to just make a name tag. And so we'll make it like, I don't know, 100, height of maybe 3, and a width or length of 30. Okay. And then we can grab our text, put it on. When I grab it and just go directly on top of it, the circle means that it's picked up the plane on top of the object. And so now I can just make a name tag. There we go. Greg, and then I should be able to move it, line it up. Now, if the base isn't quite lined up, I can, again, increase the width or decrease it, and the length a little bit. And there you go. And then I can go back to my text and re-edit it. I can also make it so that maybe I only want it to be 2. So it's just off the edge. And away we go. We've got nice little name tag. Very simple. Again, those are the basics that you could always do in TinkerCAD. And they've got more shapes now. More complex shapes that they've come up with. There's a dice. There's a cone. Those are the basic shapes. Now, they have design starters here. So, like, if you don't want to start from scratch, you can just import one of these that someone's already kind of worked on. And to move around and change, you can grab the corners of your little view up at the top over here. And you can move around. I can say go to top. I can say look at an angle, look at this angle. Again, back to top. This angle, front. And it's quite easy to kind of get the view you're looking for. Home will always take you back. This one zooms in to make sure it's kind of fills the view. And again, there's lots of more complex objects that you can bring into your model here that people have done and set up. So again, basic shape design. They have characters. So like if you were teaching a class of some sort, you can then have them bring characters in, and you can make a whole story. What else do they have? So the creatures, characters, hardware. So if you want, you got some basic shapes to make wrenches. They have lots of snap fit pieces. So there's lots of different pieces that you can put together to make your object, to connect them and whatnot. It's getting a little busy here. Let's get rid of some of these. And there we go. All right, what else do we got? So hardware, everyday objects. Maybe you want to do a layout of your room. Oops. You know, they've done a lot of different things. It looks like they scaled them to various sizes and whatnot. SimLab, I haven't played with this one. This one, you can add some physics to your objects, pivot connectors and whatnot. I haven't really played with this much. Let's see what happens. Can we knock over dominoes? How do you Okay. Now we go to sim. So we have a sim here. Throw obstacle. Okay, I'm going to throw a banana. What? All throwable. I don't know what that means. I'll have to play with this one more. I'm not sure. Well, we'll have to. Materials, settings, gravity. Oh, you can have different gravity, moon gravity, earth gravity. Yeah, not. I haven't played enough with this. I'm sure there's a tutorial on it as well, but there you go. This is. There's a lot of interesting pieces. We can go back to our regular. Oops. Basic shapes. Let's delete this. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, okay. Can I? Let's go back to TinkerCAD. So we went over a few of the tutorials, or at least we talked about them last week. And there's a lot of tutorials. So if you aren't comfortable with CAD and would like to kind of get more comfortable, take a look at the tutorials. There are a lot of tutorials. David was talking about the chess pawn, so we can resume this one. So it wants us to, oops, got to be on the right screen. I just about messed things up. So we want to drag an object to here, and then, oops. Sometimes getting the right view is going to be important. So if we grab this one here, we can actually change the height of it. So it's not quite lined up. There we go. That's pretty good, I think. Yeah, I think we're lined up. So now we can go to the next step. Drag a workspace. So we drag workspace to here. That's now our work plane. Now we're going to add a cone. Again, we got to try to line it all up. There we go. And it says it wants it. The shape, the height should be 11 millimeters. So we can go over here and type 11. And then there you go. We've got it now to 11 millimeters. And now we can go on to the next step. And now it wants a sphere. So we can drag a sphere in there. Try to get it lined up. Ooh. I don't like that work plane it gave us. I don't like that at all. There we go. Okay, almost lined up. So you can see how it can be kind of finicky to get things lined up exactly where you want them. But that's why I would, if I were making a pawn, I would use the revolve. But the tutorials are pretty good at instructing you on all the next steps. So now it wants to scale the diameter to 18. All right, so to 18. Oh, I think I squished it there. Well, I wanted to squish it to 5. And then the diameter was 18. And then we can move it and try to line it up with the center. You can use your keyboard to line it up too. There you go. We got that donut shape. And we got it roughly in the target area. Now we want a cone. And so you can see I don't think we want to go through the whole process, but you can see you can really flipped it, but you can really get an idea of how to use the program through this. To make a pawn, like I said, I would not use this. I would use the other tool. So let's get out of this. Let's tinker 3D, start tinkering, and we'll start a new project. And we can just hit create. It'll always make a weird name for your project. You can rename it. As you can see up here, it just makes so you can change the name to Greg's Pawn. And so then we can just drag this to here. It'll throw us into the sketch space. And we can let's try to make a pawn like they were wanting us. So go like that. Maybe we'll go like that and like that. Then I will switch to the round. Okay, so now we got a round piece. Go back to sketching. Let's take a straight line from maybe here, and we'll go up to somewhere about there. I think I'm going to go back on that one. So Control Z, hit escape and Control Z, you can get back out and go back to the sketch, go back to your line and be like, oh yeah, I need to go much taller with that one. Okay. And then we got that piece. Go back into here. Let's do another round one somewhere from like here. Not quite sure. And then we can go to the top area here. Again, I'm just zooming out and in. And let's try That's not gonna do it. Let's try. Oops. Nope. Let's go back in here. Let's get rid of that thing. And not sure. How you modify this one right here. Oops. It's allowing me to move it, but I want to. Yeah. That one is not doing what I want it to do. So we'll go to this one. There we go. I think this one is entirely too big. Let's move that in a bit. And sure. Not quite as skinny a pawn as the other one, but you can still make quite, an interesting shape out of this, and you can still go edit it some more after this and whatnot. So kind of neat what you can do. Fusion has been a lot more advanced for a long time, but it's nice to see that some of those features have been coming down and are now available inside of TinkerCAD now. It's really nice to see. I'm gonna have to go see if I can find a tutorial on the physics part of it, because if you can make objects and knock them over and simulate it, and maybe even have some sort of recording of it, you could start using it for some sort of basic animation for classes and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions on that, but that's a good kind of intro on TinkerCAD. There are a lot of other stuff out there, but if you're just getting into CAD and want to design something, this is a good way to start. Yeah. So yeah, that was interesting. I'm not sure, Gary. You're in the chat. TinkerCAD. Do you use Fusion? Do you use FreeCAD? What are the types of CAD programs that you are currently kind of playing around with, or have played around with in the past? Because me, it's mainly TinkerCAD and Fusion. Fusion being my go-to for pretty much everything. But whenever I just need to whip something together, I'll fire up Fusion because I'm so familiar with all the controls and features and whatnot that I use regularly. That's the one I do. But I haven't played with FreeCAD enough. Onshape is another one that I've just started kind of playing with a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely, I think I feel more comfortable, so I'm more precise with what I'm trying to do, because normally when I'm using Fusion, I'm doing more technical drawing. So I know the physical measurements. I may have a image that I'm sketching over top of, which is a nice feature. Which I don't know if you can you import drag a 2D or 3D. So it looks like you can import SVG. So you can bring a vector file in here and into TinkerCAD as well, and then use that as a basis for some of your sketches. So a lot of times, if let's say I have a broken part, like I did a part for my fridge in my trailer. The latch on the fridge door is a full handle, and then it has a plastic piece on the top and bottom that allows it to just kind of pivot and release the latch. And one of the plastic pieces had broken, so I had the pieces. One was broken and missing, and the other one was on the bottom, but it was intact. So I used the bottom one as my model. I took a picture of it, imported that picture into Fusion. Can I bring it up? Maybe I can bring it up and just show you. Watch, it'll probably want me to log in, so just bear with me for a sec while I try to bring this in. I'll bring it up to the top screen. Yeah, it wants me to sign in. 1 second. Oh yeah, and it wants my two-factor, of course. I have not tried OpenSCAD. That is the one I believe you can change all the. It's very programmatic, if I'm remembering correctly. Is that right, Gary? You can adjust a lot of the parameters to scale things and whatnot, which you can do somewhat in Fusion 360 if you define all your pieces. You can do a lot with that in Fusion as well. But it's my recollection is that the OpenSCAD is very very programmatic, and if you're like to do any coding or whatever, that's the one to do, because you can basically build your whole object. All right, so let's see if I can. I'm gonna bring this up top here, and let's see if I can go to screen share. Let's see if I can find my fridge piece. Oh, I have so many pieces in here. So many pieces. So many designs. Well, here's an example. So, let's see if I can get that out. There we go. So this is an example of I took a picture, and let me turn off the body here. I took a picture of a USB hub, and I needed to have a model wrap around this shape. So I took a picture, imported it into Fusion, and then what I did was I took the canvas, and then you can calibrate the canvas, so you can then scale it, and I'm not going to rescale it because it's already scaled correctly. So, but you can type in, you can put a ruler beside it, or you might know the measurement from, let's say, here to here. like you take it with your calipers, so you can scale the picture so that it's as close to the real model as that you or the real thing as possible. And then you can start making your sketches. So like I sketched, the rough shape I wanted to hold the connector on, and went from there. So there are things like this that you can do to make more technical that TinkerCAD can't do. So but yeah, so it's kind of neat, and then you build up your sketches and whatnot, and then you come up with an actual 3D body that can slide over, and I put another fin to lock into the other piece. So this is kind of the more technical thing you can do in Fusion versus TinkerCAD, but like we were showing before, uh, oops. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me go back to here. Um, oh, because it was on the login. All right. Now we'll go back to TinkerCAD. Zoom. One sec. And then, yeah, so you can bring other pieces in, like you can try importing a picture or whatnot. I don't have anything I want to import, but you can import another object and modify it. But yeah, definitely the different tools, the more advanced tools down here, like the extrude and the revolve and the scribble, can kind of up your game a little bit over and above the basic objects. So like if I bring in a basic object here, and we like scale it a little bit here, let's go, yeah, sure, that shape's fine. We can go here, and then we can, let's say, bring it up a bit. Now we have a hole in our object, and you can then group them together. So we got a solid, so we can lock them together, and then when you print it, you can move this object, but you won't separate the two because we've grouped them all together. So yeah, you can, the basic objects and whatnot, and we can unlock it, are kind of really good place to start if you just didn't you know exactly what you want to do. Play around with it, use the tutorials like we were showing earlier. They are great, and again, the tutorials, to get to them, I'm just going to click the TinkerCAD on the left there, and we can go to learn. That brings us up to the tutorials, and there are a ton, like we showed last week. There's a ton of tutorials available for you to try and just kind of get a good feel for TinkerCAD and whatnot. So it's a great one to start with. I think any age this would be good for. I know we have everywhere from where I work, we go from kindergarten all the way up to grade 12, and there's pretty much every grade level uses TinkerCAD, and then some of the more advanced grades will go and use Fusion or one of the other ones. But this is a great one to get started if you're doing a science project and whatnot. They have a lot of different like they have circuits. That's a new one that they have, and you can try out different designs and whatnot, and learn about the different diodes and resistors and whatnot. And then they also have the code breakers. So this one allows you to build up code to do a variety of different things, whether it's using in a robot or just they have a whole bunch. They have different classes and stuff you can do in little like you can see they're programmatically it's kind of like we were talking about by SCAD, programmatically making a design here with stars and images and whatnot. So you can actually get do some really interesting things. So, and again, there's wonderful tutorials on this, different projects, challenges, and whatnot. Explore the site. They've done a really good job at allowing people to kind of go from very basic to more advanced just with TinkerCAD. And then if you feel like you're not challenged enough, then we'll have more tutorials on like Fusion, and we'll do some stuff with Onshape, and FreeCAD is one of the other ones we kind of briefly talked about. So we'll see kind of which way we're going, but we're definitely, I know we'll look at Fusion for sure, but the other ones definitely we'll see what the response is in chat and through our Discord, and then get a good idea of which is the next one you want to see. David might be more familiar with some of the other ones. I think he's used OpenSCAD. He was in chat briefly, so I think he may have done it. But oh, I missed David's note that he wasn't streaming today because he was busy doing other things. But alrighty, I think that almost wraps it up for today. Hope you got a kind of brief overview of the things you can do with TinkerCAD. Again, very brief overview, just some of the basic tools. It's a great starter program. I recommend it for anyone who wants to kind of start getting into CAD and whatnot, play around, learn, and go from there. So hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I missed David's mention that he wasn't available today. My bad. It was his birthday yesterday, so who wants to stream the day after your birthday? Totally understand. And I've got to rush off to Calgary in a bit here, take my son to the airport. So have a great weekend, the rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next week. Bye.